Hey everybody, and welcome to this exciting course on C Sharp. We are learning C Sharp step by step. In the last lecture, we learned to work with the random class. We learned to generate random numbers, both integers and floating points. And in this lecture, we are going to learn another interesting and important tool which is called DateTime Struct. DateTime Struct is used to work with the date and time in the application. And you know the importance of the date and time. Almost every application or the project implements date and time. For example, if you are creating blog application, payment application, or booking application, then you will definitely work with the date and time. There is no way to create a booking system without working with the date and time. So it's an important topic and I want you to not to miss anything in this lecture. Now, while working with the date and time, there are some common use cases we need to know, such as getting the current date and time, formatting dates, extracting different parts like year, month, day, hours, minutes, and seconds, performing date time calculation like subtraction between two dates and two different times, comparing dates, and working with the time zones. So these are the common use cases we need to learn. And in this lecture, we are going to cover all of them one by one. Let's move on and learn this interesting tool. When we consult with the official documentation, it says date time is a struct, it is not a class, and this is also the part of the system namespace. And when we scroll down, there is a lot to work with. Datetime has constructor which is heavily overloaded, as you can see here. Further scroll down, so it has some fields, it has properties, and it has methods. And there are a lot of methods to work with. You can see here the list is very long. So we cannot cover all of them, but we will cover most commonly used properties and methods. And for further reference, you have this documentation. You want to learn something new about it, just come to this documentation and find your topic. So let's go back to the code and learn how do we use date time in different contexts. The first thing we want to learn and experiment with is how to print current date and time. In order to print current date and time, we have a predefined property in the date time struct, which is called now. So let's call this property and get the current date and time. So we are simply calling the property now with the help of date time struct, and here we have period operator. The return value of this statement is a timestamp, and that's why we need an appropriate variable to save the timestamp. So dt is the name of the variable and the type of that variable is date time. Now we can simply print the dt variable to see the output. And so you see the output, right? This is a current date and time in the console. So using the now property, we can simply get the current date and time of our system. So that was the first point on our list, how to get the current date and time. And for that, we can simply use the now property. Now, the second point on our list is how to format a date. And for that, if I scroll down, so we have toString method. We can use toString method to format the date. As you can see, there are several different use of toString method, and it can also be used for formatting. So let's see how do we format the date using the toString method. We are going to write another console write line and our date time object, and to that object we will call toString method. And to the toString method, we are going to pass a format pattern. For example, I want full year, then a dash, then I want month, and then I want day. So to the toString method, I just pass a format string. Now the date should be like this. So let's run the program and see if the format is changed or not. So you see in the output, the format is changed, year, month, and the day. So this is how we can format a date according to our requirement. And there are several different formatting strings we can provide to the toString method. Let me show you some more examples. So here you see two more examples. Here we are gonna get a date in this format, month, day, and year, and here comes the time. And in the last one, we are gonna get the day name and the month name and the day date. So let's run the application and check the output. Here is the format of our date. This is the time, and today is Wednesday, June 11th. So once again, consult with the official documentation. Here we have the toString method for date formatting. And if I click on the link here, and then it's scrolled down a bit. So here we have a custom format string, different examples, different strings, and here we have the output examples. So you can see we can format a date in several different ways using the toString methods. So check out some more formatting strings. Here we have some examples, right? So that was the second point on our list: format, date, and time. The third point on our list is extracting different parts like year, month, day, etc. So in order to extract different parts, we have predefined properties. If we look at the documentation again, under the properties table, we will find many properties like day property, hour property, minute, month. Now we use recently, today, and year. So using these properties, we can simply extract a single part from a complete date time object. So let's call some of the properties and see how do they respond. Now, for example, if I just only want to extract the year, so I can write something like this. And now we can publish the year variable in the console. So year property will simply extract the year from the date time object variable and then assign the year value to this year variable. For month, we can simply call month property like this. And for day, so we can simply call the day property. And we can also extract minutes and hours like this. We can even extract seconds, milliseconds, etc. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console: year, month, date, minutes, and hours. So that was the third point on the list, extracting different parts. And now we know how to do that. Our fourth point on the list is performing date time calculation. Date time calculation can easily be performed using the predefined methods, such as we have add days, add months, add years, etc. We can also subtract two different days and times to get the difference. So let's see how do we do some basic date time calculations. I will first create another date time variable. Let's call it today. And here I will assign today property, not the now property. The now property that we used earlier returns both the date and the time. The today property returns only the date, but the time components is also there, which is set to the default. So now we have today's date in today variable. After that, I'm gonna create another variable of date time, and the name of the variable is after 5 days. So what would be the date after 5 days if we start counting from today? To find it, we are gonna simply call the add days method to the today variable. We're gonna increase the date with 5 days. So instead of 1, I'm gonna send the value 5 to the add days method. Now, as we know, today is 11th June, and after 5 days, the date should be 16th June. So let's just print the value of the variable after 5 days and run the program. And here you see the output. The date after 5 days is 16 June, right? So we simply added 5 days to the current date and it worked. We can also calculate the difference between the dates. For example, I want to know the number of days in between. So I will simply perform a subtraction like this, and it will get me a result of 5 because there's a 5 days difference between these two dates. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the value 5 in the output, right? Now, instead of add days, we can also call add months, add years. So let me show you an example of add months. We will create a new variable. Let's call it after uh, 4 months, like this. And to the current date, we call add months like this. And if we are add 4 months, and now we can calculate the difference between the dates after 4 months minus or subtract today. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console 122 days. You won't see the number of month here. You will see the number of days in 4 months. And this is because of the months have different length 28, 30, and 31. So the system cannot convert the number of days into months. Good. If you want a month number here, then you need to write a custom function or a method for it. So that was the add days and add months method. On the documentation, there are more methods to experiment with. Just go there and do some more experiments. Now, before you move on, there is an important thing you need to understand. The difference of date and time has a different nature and it cannot be assigned to any other variable. For example, let's say here we have a difference and I wanna assign this difference to a integer variable. So I will write something like this. Now our program will complain. This difference is actually a duration. It is not a time stamp. And we cannot even assign this duration to a date time variable like this. So you see our program is still complaining. To save the difference of time and date, we actually use time span variable. Time span is also a struct which is used to hold or save the duration, the difference between two dates or time. For example, if you want to calculate the performance of your code, the execution time of your code, so you can code something like this, a variable to store the start time like this, date time, sorry, time now, a variable to store the end time, and in between you have your code, bunch of code. So you have your code in between. So we are recording the time before and after, and in between we have our code. Now we can simply calculate the difference using the subtraction end time minus start time. And to save the difference between the times, we need time span variable because it's a duration. So it will be something like this: time span, performance, end minus start. So that was the time span struct. Just read about it on the internet. It also have some useful properties like total minutes, seconds, milliseconds, etc. So let's now move on. Our next point on our list is date time comparison, which is also an important concept. In order to compare date and time, we can simply use the relational operators like greater than, less than, and equal to. So let me show you an example of that. We create a new date time variable. Let's call it today date and place today date in the variable like this. Now I will create a future date, a future date using the date time constructor. For example, the next year, the year is 2026, the month is same, June, and the date is also same, 11. Now we can compare these 2 days using the relational operators. So in if statements, we can write something like this. If the future date is greater than today, for example, console write we are in future, and else if the future date is less than today, then we are in the past, definitely. Otherwise, the dates are the same, and we can write, let's say, same day. So at this moment, we know the future date is set to the next year, 2026. So this if statement gonna become true, and that should be the output in the console. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console, right? Future. And if I change the date to, let's say, 2024 in the past, so this statement will become true. and we will see past in the output. So let's run the program. And so you see past in the output, right? So performing date comparison is quite simple. Now the last point on our list is working with different time zones. And that point is actually your assignment. Look for it on the internet, search the documentation and see how do we work with local time and a universal time. So that was all about working with date and time in C Sharp. I will see you in the next lecture. Thanks for watching and take care of yourself.